Alright, so I'm going to show how to replace the battery on this 15-inch MacBook Pro model A1398 2012. Alright, so first thing we're going to need is a Pentalobe 1.2 or P5 screwdriver. Right, and we're going to remove all the screws from the bottom. You want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way you do that is you put them flat side down on your desk in the pattern that you remove them. So just like this, okay, and just put them in that pattern. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put them on my desk, and we have this rectangular pattern, so we're just going to take them out and put them in that shape. Alright, so if this video helps you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my channel with others so that they can also learn how to fix their devices. Alright, I think somebody actually opened this because some of the screws are mixed around. Actually, I think they got some different screws here, so must have been brought somewhere else and then they put some different screws in it. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and continue removing all these screws. Again, you want to keep them in order. If I remember correctly, these two are slightly different than the rest, okay? But I might be remembering wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it was. But on this one, they had one of the same small screws on this side. Right, anyways, let's continue removing all these screws. Okay, once you get all the screws off, we're going to go from the back here and then pull this cover up. It's held in with some magnets here. It's pretty dusty in here, so I'm actually going to clean this out and I will be back. There's lots of big dust balls going all through the whole computer. Alright, so I'll clean that out and I'll be back in a bit. See you guys soon. Alright, I'm back. So let's open the cover. Here you can see it's a lot cleaner now. Okay, we'll set the cover aside. This battery, I just noticed, is like all wrinkly here, which is pretty crazy. So let's go ahead and remove the battery and get it replaced. I also noticed this part looks like something burnt it or ate it. Let me zoom in. Okay, first thing we're going to do is remove the battery connector. Alright, so the battery connector is right here. I usually just use my fingernail. Usually it's not that easy to get out, so that was kind of weird. So the customer said that their computer wasn't charging at all. So we're going to have to see, hopefully replacing the battery is going to fix that issue. If you're wondering, inside this model, there's the SSD right here. The RAM is soldered to the board, so you can't really upgrade it or anything. But anyways, let's go ahead and replace the battery, okay? So to replace this battery, you're going to need a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver. Alright. To be safe, after disconnecting this battery connector, I always like to open up the MacBook and then press and hold the power button for 10 to 15 seconds. Alright, this doesn't only apply to MacBooks. I do this with pretty much every laptop or computer I work on. It's a safety precaution. It drains the power from the capacitors and things like that and makes it a lot less likely to damage the computer if something goes wrong. Alright, so there we go. Let's go ahead and remove these screws that are holding the speaker in place, at least these two. Alright, so there's another screw on each speaker that's hidden underneath, so you can't really pull the speakers out like this. We're just doing this so that we can get underneath to scrape the battery packs out. Alright, again, keep the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. Let's go ahead and remove the two screws on this side as well. Okay. Alright, so now that we got all of those screws out, let's go ahead and go underneath this plastic piece. You can peel this all the way out if you want, but you don't really have to. You can kind of just peel up each side. Alright, so you can go on the left side and peel that up, and on the right side and peel that up. So you'll see underneath here, there's a screw, another T5 or Torx 5 screw there. So we'll remove that as well. Okay, there we go. And then there should be another one on this side. I don't know why the adhesive is being so difficult. But just peel that out. Come on. There we go. Alright, and get that screw out as well. I just got a message. Give me a second. Forgot to mute my phone. I'll be back. Alright, let's continue. So I'm not able to turn off my notifications unless I completely stop the video, and I don't want to have to do that and then start it and then stitch it all together. So hopefully the messages won't be sounding until I'm done. But anyways, once we get those screws out, then we're gonna go ahead and start over on this side. I like to lift the speaker up like this. Usually the speaker here is gonna have some dust on it, so I just get a brush and then clean that off. Piece of that plastic from this speaker fell out. I'm gonna see if I can find that. There it is. All right. So usually the speaker shouldn't be broken like that, but a little piece of this broke off. I don't know why. Some models are broken like that and some aren't. So let's flip it over. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Lift it up. Okay, grab the speaker. See, this one is fine. And brush that off. There we go. All right, so now we're going to scrape the battery out of here. So the reason why I take these screws out is so I can lift this speaker up, and then we're gonna get this tool underneath, and then we're gonna cut the adhesive of the battery pack. All right, so here you can see the battery pack is slightly like delaminating or something. All right, and we're just gonna keep working our way down here. Okay, just like this. All right, keep working our way over until we get the entire pack out. All right, there we go. Okay, so once we get the small pack out, we can go ahead and lift this up, and then we can work our way on the longer one going this way. All right, I like to go diagonal like this, so that way it cuts here. You can't really reach this side, so usually once we cut the rest of the adhesive, we'll just pry it up. All right, so just keep going down like this. Okay, this adhesive is cutting up pretty easily. All right, let's go ahead and pry it up now, just like this. Okay, you want to use a thin, flexible pry tool like this. You don't want something that's sharp. As you can see, this isn't sharp. I can't cut myself with it. And because if you have something sharp, there's a good chance you're going to damage this battery pack, and then you can cause a fire. All right, so you want to be very careful. There is like this one that I found online that's pretty close to this, but I had to file it thinner to make it useful in the same way. So if you want to find the same tool like what I'm using, just let me know. Just keep in mind that you will have to file it down to make the tip a little bit thinner. All right, so this is what I use. All right, let's go ahead and continue going underneath here. Okay, somebody was like telling me like, oh, that's a butter knife. I'm like, no, butter knives aren't this thin and flexible. It's similar to like a frosting knife, but I was told that this came from like a pharmacy, that the pharmacy closed down. I actually got this used on eBay, and it was on accident. I was looking for a different tool, and then they ended up saying, oh, I have the perfect thing, and that's how I ended up with this tool. So keep that in mind. This tool, I don't know if you can even find one that's the same exact. If somebody knows where to get this same exact tool, that'd be awesome. I'd like to get another like 1 or 2 of these. But the other one works pretty well as well. It's just a little bit thicker, so I like using this super thin, more flexible tool. Okay. All right. I can tell this, I think this adhesive is going to be a pain to remove. Oh, I need to move this cover, it keeps sliding. All right. There we go. Let's go ahead and go at an angle. Okay, make sure the rest is done. And then let's go ahead and pry this corner up. Okay, just like that. All right, now that we got those 2 packs up, we're gonna have to go up underneath these middle ones. The only thing is the trackpad is slightly raised, so let me see if I can show you this. So underneath here, you can see the trackpad is slightly raised there. So if you go straight on, you'll actually hit the metal. So you have to go slightly above that, okay? And get underneath there, and we'll continue prying out. You want to be careful not to get the tool over this way, because then you can damage the trackpad cable as well as the trackpad cable here, as well as the keyboard cable. So you want to be very careful and just go either straight this way or in towards the front of the MacBook. All right. If you go too far over to the left, then you can actually damage the cables or the motherboard, so you want to be very careful. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and continue cutting the adhesive here. I've heard some people use floss to do this. I'm not sure how they do that. I've tried and it just hurt my hands, so I don't know. You can use whatever works for you, but this way works for me. All right. Continue cutting the adhesive. Okay. All right, just like this. Underneath both packs now. Getting tough. Come on, get over there. All right. Okay, I think that's all of that. Let's flip it over and get the other side. Same idea. All right. Get underneath the battery packs. Lift it slightly up so you clear the trackpad area. All right, and then slide the tool in. Have to be careful because it's wanting to go over towards the motherboard. Okay, like that, work our way over, same thing. Okay. Again, the nice tool to use for this kind of thing is like a frosting spatula, but if the frosting spatula is too thick, you will have to file it a little bit thinner. Okay. Alright. Keep working on it. Okay. Almost there. Get under both packs now. Continue cutting up the adhesive. We're almost there. Okay, there we go. Should be good. Let's go ahead and rotate this back over. Okay, and then we're going to lift the whole battery pack up. You can go ahead and lift this out. Lift that up. Okay, try and get underneath all of them at the same time if you can. And then slide this forward so here you can see underneath the battery. Okay, some people tell me on the thing, oh, don't do that, you're gonna cut the battery, but here you go, you can see there's no cuts in it. All right, so we'll set that aside. Let's go ahead and get this adhesive off. So this adhesive is going to be a huge pain. This kind of adhesive doesn't peel up, if I remember correctly, like the newer models do. Let's see if we can. I don't think I can. Nope, can't peel that up. So we're just going to have to use this tool and basically scrape all of it off if we can. Okay. So this 2012 model is the worst one, where the adhesive just gets all shredded up as you try and scrape it off. But basically, we're going to have to scrape all this stuff off, and then we're going to have to use some isopropyl alcohol to clean the residue. I'm actually going to test the battery first, just so I don't tear all of this stuff off and then find that it doesn't even work. Okay, so, well, actually, let's go ahead and scrape it all off because I'm going to have to eventually do it anyways. You're welcome to just fast forward through this whole thing. This is going to be a very long process, but I kind of want to show people what they'll be in for if you're going to be attempting this repair. Keep in mind, you're going to have to go through this entire adhesive removal process. So as you can see, this adhesive is a pain to remove. It does help to kind of get some rubbing alcohol on it, so let me go ahead and do that and then show you. Okay, so you can kind of soak this thing up with rubbing alcohol, and then you can kind of scrape it, and it helps soften up the adhesive to make it a little bit easier to remove. Okay, doesn't make it effortless, it just makes it a little bit easier. The only thing with this is you're going to have to use a lot of that rubbing alcohol. So I kind of like to just scrape as much as I can first, and then use the rubbing alcohol to clean the residue off. So here you can see how much of a pain that is. I'm actually going to use my metal scrapey tool, and that should be better. So I'm going to use this one that I mentioned earlier. I filed this thinner because this one's actually a bit sharper, and as you can see, I can do this and it scrapes off the adhesive a lot better. Okay, so it might get the aluminum scratched a little, but it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. The main thing is that we get all this residue off. Okay, because if we don't get this residue off, then the replacement battery is not going to stick well. So here you can see how much easier it is to use this metal scrapey tool. Okay, if you have another metal flat tool like a razor blade, that might actually work better. In fact, I can actually, maybe I should try a metal razor blade. Let me try that real quick, and that might actually work. Okay, so I'm gonna try putting a metal razor blade in this. I don't know if it will work, but let's see if it will hold a metal razor blade. I've never tried putting a metal razor blade in this tool, and I have to be careful because I don't want to cut my finger. It does fit, kind of. It's a little bit loose. All right, let's see. Can we use this? And it looks like it's working. It sounds kind of scary. It's not much more effective than the other thing, so I'm just going to continue using the other tool. Okay, sometimes it's nice to use this stuff as a learning tool. Okay, it's always good to keep learning. Alright, so let's set that aside, and we're just going to continue using this, because this seems to work a lot better. Okay. Again, this doesn't remove all the adhesive residue, so we are going to have to use rubbing alcohol in the end. But it's a lot easier to remove this big chunky stuff with this method, and then we'll clean up the residue later. So here you can see, even though this one's been soaking with rubbing alcohol, it's still a little tough to remove. Okay. Get a paper towel so I can clean this up later. Okay. Alright, continue scraping this stuff off. Okay. Hopefully you guys will be able to find a way to get this stuff that's not too difficult. Alright. Getting there. Let's rotate this again and continue scraping. Okay. move on to the other sides. So here's the trackpad cable I was warning about. You might accidentally cut it if you get the tool too far up to the side. Okay, let's go ahead and scrape off this one as well. You can see how much of a pain removing this adhesive stuff is. Hopefully there's no other issues with this MacBook and I'm not just doing this for nothing. Because again, these kind of repairs, they really suck. Apple should be ashamed of themselves for making battery replacements like this. Okay. Batteries are like known to fail, so I don't know why they would make... I mean, I know why they would do it. It's so that they can make money off of selling you an entire palm rest assembly. Alright. And if you don't want the entire palm rest assembly, then they'll just sell you another MacBook, which makes them even more money, so kind of sucks. Okay, so just keep scraping up all this adhesive. Okay, continue cutting through all this adhesive. We're getting there, halfway done. Man. Man. Okay, we're getting there. Good thing I'm doing this repair after midnight. It's a lot cooler right now. It's a lot warmer in the morning or in the day. Okay. Getting there. keep in mind after this we're going to have to wipe up all the adhesive residue that's still stuck on here. Otherwise the battery won't stick down. So all this cloudy stuff, if you don't clean it off, the replacement battery won't stick. Alright, let's turn this around. Let's scrape all this up. Actually, I should have cut the adhesive the other way. I don't know why I'm doing it sideways. Okay, let's turn this around. Alright, cutting this. Okay, we're getting there. Let's rotate this again. Almost there. Alright, so we got most of the residue off, so now we're going to have to use the rubbing alcohol to remove that cloudy adhesive stuff. Alright, so let's go ahead and get a piece of paper towel. Best way to do this is you can spray some directly on, or you can put it onto the paper towel, and then you just kind of rub that and wipe it out. Take some serious elbow grease. You do have to keep working at it. The thinner it is, oh man, this part of the speaker is broken too. That's crazy. What is going on? Okay. So the thing with the adhesive, the thinner you scraped it with the metal tool, the easier it will come out with the rubbing alcohol. Okay, so if it's still really thick, the adhesive residue, you want to kind of scrape it out a bit more. So as you can see, we can kind of wipe this up, and it's not too bad. Alright, so keep cleaning this up. Okay, then now that this got all the sticky adhesive residue all over it, you want to fold it over the other way. Right, add some more rubbing alcohol to the paper towel, and just continue cleaning. Okay, be careful with the wires and stuff. You don't want to damage those while trying to clean this. Okay. As you can see, it's getting a lot cleaner. Okay. It does take quite a bit of elbow grease to kind of just rub all the stuff off. I'm gonna add some adhesive or some super glue to this because this piece is coming out. Okay, let's see, where can I put that? Just right there. Let me clean off the... Okay. Make sure this sticks back together. Okay, let's continue cleaning this stuff off. Clean off the super glue there. Okay, make sure that sits properly. Okay, get some more rubbing alcohol. Might need a new bottle of rubbing alcohol soon. Okay, and just continue cleaning this stuff off. Put a little more straight on there. Alright. Just keep cleaning, just keep cleaning. And this takes a lot of elbow grease to get all this stuff up. If you want, you can actually put the battery without the adhesive, and you can leave it on the plastic adhesive guard, and that way if your battery ever goes bad, you could easily just swap it out and put a new one. Okay, I'll actually show you guys that in a bit when I go to test it. So sometimes if you do that, then the battery might rattle around inside the computer. So it's always a good idea to put it back the way you found it, unless you kind of just want that extra convenience. Okay. Yeah, this adhesive is so much work to remove. Okay, that's just about done. Okay, there's still, this black stuff doesn't want to come off. Alright, there we go. I'll wipe it off one more time with a clean paper towel, just to remove any residue that might be remaining. It doesn't need to be 100% clean, but I like to try and get as close as I can. Alright, clean that off, clean this off, and clean that off. Alright, so there we go. It's about as good as we're going to get it. So let's go ahead and take the replacement battery. Okay. So the replacement battery comes like this. They'll have this plastic sheet on top. These are supposed to keep the battery packs in place, but this adhesive isn't holding it very well. And then this is here as well. So usually if you don't want to cut the battery or stick the battery back on, you can actually just put the battery in place like this. Okay, there we go. But let's see, it looks like it's having a tough time fitting here. Usually what you have to do is you'd have to cut off these little tabs. Okay, but should I just install it? I'll just install it. Alright, so let's go ahead and peel this off. If for some reason the battery doesn't work, then I guess I will just rip it back out. So here we go. So you want to try and keep these packs all lined up, okay? Then you want to carefully slide this back under there. Okay, be careful not to get the adhesive stuck down yet until you got the battery completely in place. Just like that. All right. Make sure that these screw mounts line up. Uh-oh, this one's not lining up right. That's kind of weird. Am I going to be able to peel this back up, or is it permanently stuck? We might be stuck here. Oh man, we might be stuck in a sticky situation. There we go. Okay, so I need to get the left side down further. And it doesn't seem to want to go down far enough for this to line up right. So I might have to just line it up that way. Okay, it looks like that's how I got to do it. Let's get these battery packs in. Okay, and drop them into place just like that. All right, so there we go. We got the battery packs lined up and in place. Now we're going to get the battery screws in with the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver. Okay, so get that lined up. Get the screw in. Go. All right, get the other screw. Okay, make sure it's lined up. Get that screw in place. All right, there you go. Tighten it all the way down. Everything looks good. Let's go ahead and peel this clear piece off as well. It's not really doing anything, but let's peel it off. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to go ahead and put back the speaker screws. If a piece of your speaker broke off like this one, then just put that back in place. Okay, I'm going to have to lift this thing back up slightly and get that in. It doesn't want to go in properly. Yeah, that's going to be somewhat of a pain to put back. Let's see here, can I get this to line up? Not really. Yeah, I don't know. This piece of the speaker doesn't want to line up right. Oh, there we go. Okay, got it in. There we go, lined up. Good as new. All right, let's go ahead and put these screws back in as well. Just like that. All right, and get this screw in. We'll get these screws for the other speaker. Okay, stick that in as well. All right, now that we got all those screws in, let's go ahead and get the battery connector in. So the battery connector can be a little tricky sometimes because it's longer than the original, but the way you would do this, let me show you here. So you would fold the middle in half, okay, like that. Now that you got the middle folded in half, you can go ahead and push the entire set of the cables down, so that way it bends the edge of this part downwards. And then while you have this here, you're gonna rotate it like this, okay? And then you want to look at the top here and get one of the corners in first. So usually I get the top right corner in, and then once you get that, you can go ahead and push the rest of the connector down. All right, it's hard for me to see from that angle, so there we go. All right, so now we got the entire connector back in. Let's go ahead and actually get the old connector cover off, that sticker. Okay, so I'm gonna peel this whole sticker off the old battery. All right, and we're gonna apply this onto the new one. So just line it up, push it in place, stick that on. There we go. Let's go ahead and put the bottom cover back on. Let's zoom out. There we go. If this rubber piece is popping up, don't worry, the cover will hold it down. Okay, usually there's some adhesive here. I don't know, the adhesive is not holding on anymore, but let's hold that down. Okay, and then the cover will kind of hold the rest of it down. So just like this, the magnets hold it in place. Let's flip it over. Right after you do that, you want to do an SMC and Pram reset. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let me get the charging cable. All right, let's grab that. Okay, don't knock anything over here. Okay, so charging cable, plug that in. All right, if it starts itself, I'm going to hold the option key, but okay, it started itself. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an SMC reset. I'm holding the option key so that the computer doesn't boot itself all the way. All right, so to do an SMC reset, you do Control Option Shift on the left side, and then you press the power button. The battery should go to green, or the charge port, and then back to orange. All right, and then after that, the SMC has been reset. Now you want to do a Pram reset. So to do that, first what you want to do is make sure the computer's off. All right, I'm going to hold the power button to turn it off. All right, then you turn it on, and then immediately after do Command Option P and R. Okay, you should hear the chime, then the screen should flash off, and then you should hear the chime a second time. All right, once you hear it the second time, you know that you did the Pram reset properly. So now let's see if the computer boots up all the way. It might show the user account, so I'm going to just move the screen off the recording, but let's see here. Come on. Okay, so it did open up, and there we go. It looks good. I'm going to unplug the battery and see. Okay, it's staying on. So when they get the batteries, they recommend that you fully charge and discharge it about 3 or 4 times, and then after that you can just use the battery as normally. So I'm going to let it charge overnight, and then yeah, but that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and put the screws back in. Okay, so we're going to switch back to the Pentalobe 1.2 or P5 screwdriver and put back all those screws. Okay, other than that, that's pretty much all there is to this. Again, hopefully this video helped you. If it did, make sure to like and subscribe and share my channel with others. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing to the channel so that I can continue doing this for a living. Other than that, that's all there's for this repair. Thanks for watching. You're welcome to stay while I put back the rest of the screws. But yeah, other than that, I'll see you all in the next one. All right. All right, thanks for watching. Bye. Let's drop this.